I host a podcast called Park Avenue Plastic Surgery Class. In the middle of the pandemic, patients weren't coming in the office as much. I wasn't going out to medical meetings. I didn't have as much contact with the residents in hospital training for plastic surgery. So my normal education and communication was curtailed. The podcast seemed like a great way to share plastic surgery information in a way that was readily available, that was usable in the midst of a pandemic.
My name is Doreen Wu, and I'm one of the co-hosts of the Park Avenue Plastic Surgery Class podcast. I work as a medical assistant here at Bass Plastic Surgery. Sometime in the fall of 2021, Dr. Bass approached me and pitched the idea of doing a podcast together, and I'm a huge podcast consumer. I love listening to them, so I was immediately on board.
The podcast talks about aesthetic plastic surgery and aesthetic medicine, and we try to provide a general perspective on how to approach plastic surgery more than explaining technical details.
My role in the podcast is I take the perspective of the layperson and I ask Dr. Bass all of the questions that someone who's not as familiar with plastic surgery would be wondering about or are curious about. And together we do a deep dive into all things plastic surgery related. We debunk common myths that people often have, general misconceptions that you read about or hear. We try to get to the bottom of that. What our listeners can expect to get from listening to our podcast is, to put it quite simply, knowledge. I think that our listeners hopefully have accrued some pearls of wisdom from Dr. Bass's years of experience working on Park Avenue, working in plastic surgery, teaching in classrooms as a professor. And so I know myself, I have learned way more about plastic surgery than I ever thought I could, and I hope our listeners have as well.